Operation Our Town was founded in 2007 to combat a community riddled with drugs and crime. It was believed that if citizens and business worked together to improve our community, we could take back our neighborhoods.
7 or 8 years ago, the community was in a situation where we were being challenged with a lot of things in this community that we had never been challenged with in the past.
People have to remember what was going on here before Operation Our Town became implemented. The drug crime and the violent crimes in this county anyway, it was probably at the highest level, or probably the most that we've seen in a decade prior to that. Between the gang activity and the proliferation of drugs, that's the situation that we found ourselves in before Operation Our Town came around.
And I think it was imperative with the business community as well as the community in general to come up with a way to address some of these challenges, basically the criminal element.
In March of 2006, it appeared the violence in and around Altoona was not going to end.
And they're fighting over who knows what. Okay, it could be drug related.
One night, more than a dozen shots were fired near Evergreen Manors. The next day, shots were heard near the 2000 block of 18th Street. Then that same day, this. On busy 17th Street, cars slammed into each other after one car was fired into.
At that point, it was critical to this area. We were really hurting for funds. We were hurting for manpower, hurting in technology. And Operation Our Town gave us the tools to be able to get back on top.
Everyone in the community is affected by drugs and crime, but maybe no other group is affected more than our children.
Most of the kids come from homes that are somewhat dysfunctional. A lot of times they don't have a parent at home that can help them with their homework. They may not get the moral values that need to be instilled as you're growing up. All they see is maybe the big brother who's been a drug addict, or even some of the parents. We have kids in the program actually whose parents have died from drug overdoses.
And I think the statistics said something about it being the highest in the nation, or one of the highest in the nation for this county.
The generations just keep perpetuating themselves.
The human cost to our community is high, but drugs and crime also impact business.
A lot of the crime involving the business community, which results in a loss of their profits, a loss of their business, comes from drugs.
I think about your own family. When my family goes out to shop and conduct commerce within the city or in the community in general, I think it's very, very important that we all have that peace of mind, that they can go out and do their business in a safe manner. I think it only promotes more business within the community when you know you're doing it within a safe environment.
Operation Our Town's mission: facilitate partnerships between the community and business to fight drug use and crime through proven law enforcement, treatment, and prevention techniques.
The Gloria Gates Memorial Foundation, our main goal is to try to break the cycle of poverty. And in order to do that, we have to address the factors that are involved in poverty.
We're able to supply a role model and to show them a side of life that they might not otherwise see, and to realize that there's a better way to live, and that they can rise above all that and make something out of themselves.
Because I know what could have happened to those kids if they hadn't changed their ways. If we can get the kids to do well in school, then they have a much better chance of staying out of trouble, stay away from drugs and crime, and then of course going on to higher education and then a good job.
Operation Our Town's efforts are designed to help strengthen existing organizations within our community so that they may serve and accomplish more. Our future depends on prevention.
And we believe we can break those cycles to where these kids have a shot at living a normal, healthy, happy lifestyle.
Our desire and our purpose here at Joshua House is to help see kids move from where they're at to really what they're supposed to do in life.
What the Gloria Gates Memorial Foundation does now is helps kids stay out of trouble and reach their potential so that they're beneficial members of this community, so that they're an asset.
The kids ask for more and more food when we feed them. It's not unusual for them to ask, can I have more? So we'd like to give them more, but up till now we haven't had the money really to give them more.
And some of the kids may or may not get a real healthy supper. So they come to our program for this healthy snack, and it's a good way for us to lure the kids in every day. And Operation Our Town helps us with that.
One of the reasons that Joshua House is so good for the community is that it provides a safe place, a safe haven for kids to get off the streets, to get involved in activities.
Well, we've done everything here from hairdos for prom night to changing oil on a car to homework help to helping with more serious issues too with the young people.
Because of strong financial support from area business and an energized effort from citizens in our community, Operation Our Town has made a positive impact in our neighborhoods.
I've seen the results. That just made it a no-brainer as far as me wanting to be involved and involving our business in it as well.
Since we got involved with Operation Our Town, we had the kids plant gardens outside. They put in 650 retaining wall stones by hand, 17 tons of dirt, 300 tons of material to put in the volleyball court, all of that funded by Operation Our Town.
Chief Ron Heller of Logan Township has a SWAT team that received close to $5,000 from Operation Our Town to buy these tools and one of these shields.
I really think it's made an impact. Crime is down overall in the county.
The different units, AG's office, state police, local law enforcement, they had their drug units, but of course they're limited in the amount of drug activity they could combat. The money from Operation Our Town would supplement those budgets so that more drug enforcement could be used.
Quite frankly, I don't know what we would have done without Operation Our Town.
A lot has been accomplished, but is the fight over? Of course not. In fact, our job has really just begun. Drugs, the cause of much of our crime, will continue to challenge our community and our children. That's why it's more important than ever for us to keep it safe and keep it going. If we don't, the results could be devastating.
Until one day one of them goes to school with a gun, or until one of them's arrested on drug charges. Until then, they're invisible and the community doesn't notice.
The after-school time is one of the highest crime times of the day. As kids come home from school, the parents a lot of times aren't home. They're left to wander the neighborhood, and that seems to be when they get into trouble.
Law enforcement, they know that if these invisible kids are not helped, if their needs aren't met, then they're going to become very visible and very costly problems to society.
The idea of the current slogan of keep it safe, keep it going, I think the latter part of that, to keep it going sometimes, is the real hard part and the hard challenge. When issues are right there in front of you on a day-to-day basis, it's easy to address them. Once they kind of slide into the background, people tend to forget that they're still there and they're lurking. And if you're not diligent about how you approach it, they're going to come out and bite you again.
Thanks to support from local business, youth organizations have been able to increase their prevention support for our kids.
It's about family, to tell you the truth. Like, we're all a big family. Well, if it wasn't for the door, I'd probably be back in my house fighting with my family like we used to all the time. A lot of people here have actually helped me out and probably actually turned me into a better person, really. So when I first came here, I was always getting into trouble. And now I don't really have to worry about that because I'm barely getting any now.
I think it just comes down to that personal interaction. And unfortunately, kids are not getting that from their families in many cases. You know, we have lots of kids that are growing up with one parent, or in some cases no parents, or no parents that are really involved.
We're making a difference in a couple hundred kids for the cost of locking 3 up. What makes sense? That makes sense to me.
There are many young people that can benefit from the prevention and support programs these organizations provide. But they can't do it alone.
I think as we look at maintaining this community and trying to grow the community and attract other industries and other people into the community, it's important that we keep this thing going on an ongoing basis, which means it's constant funding, it's renewable resources that we need to have in place.
Altoona has been a wonderful place for me to live and my family, and I think a lot of people feel that way, and we want it to stay that way. And the way to do that, of course, is to support an organization like Operation Our Town. That's their main goal, is to keep us in a nice, safe, pleasant community.
If we didn't have an Operation Our Town, then some of these programs wouldn't exist. Really, it helps change some lives, gets kids off the street.
All these organizations that have great causes and great missions, you know, they need money. And that's what it comes down to. And so by providing some of those resources, I think that's really helped.
And by reducing the drug activity, you reduce the crime in general, and that's been a big benefit, I think, of this community.
We have another challenge to meet here too, and that's just how do we do law enforcement in our community. you know, the resources are there's just not going to be as much going forward as there has been in the past. So we're going to have to do more with less. And part of that's going to mean that the communities are going to need to be, you know, creating environments where those things are addressed.
Once the community is not a safe place, or is perceived not to be a safe place to be out and about in, you're not going to have as much business going on. You're not going to have people wanting to go to businesses. You can make the community a safer place to live in. It's also going to be a better and more productive place for businesses.
To those individuals and other businesses that are not currently supporting Operation Our Town, I would encourage them to step up and do so, because you're benefiting from the overall effort. And the more people we have making that effort, the better the outcome's going to be.
The future is you have to be alert, and you have to be vigilant, and you have to be in a position where you can combat anything that happens.
I think it would be a major blow to the area if Operation Our Town ceased to exist.